Assalamualaikum. Hi, my name is Muhammad FIKKRI bin Zainal Effendi. My matric number is S57879. My supervisor is Dr. Nur AMALINA binti Muhammad ZAKI. My topic is an exploratory study of the Internet of Things, IoT, in seafood supply chain management. Okay, let me start with research background. Supply chain management has spawned increasingly intricate supply chains. This was said by Syed and Kirsten 2019. According to Syed et al., Sustainable Supply Chain Management (SSCM) has grown a lot and is getting more attention because of limited natural resources, a growing world population, and corruption in logistic production and consumption, and also more waste and pollution. The entire process of producing, packaging, distributing, storing, and ultimately processing food for human consumption is included in the food supply chain, which is the developing integrated sector. This was said by Chen et al. 2022. One of the world's most traded commodities, seafood has a complex and valuable supply chain that includes fish feed providers, marine fishers, and aquaculture farmers, processors, wholesalers, intermediaries and distributors, retailers, and food service. This was mentioned by Fox et al. 2018 and Lawrence et al. 2022. Technologies has made possible by the Internet of Things allow participants in the supply chain to communicate with one another and share the data they need to efficiently coordinate and regulate their operation. This was mentioned by Kazan Choklu, 2021. In the same study, technology increased coordination by facilitating better communication and data collection and transmission among participants. This facilitates better decision making and boosts supply chain efficiency. According to Hassan 2020, the fifth generation 5G wireless network has made the Internet of Things a breakthrough technology with many features and applications. The concept of the IoT is a future where digital and physical items are interconnected via the use of suitable information and communication technologies, opening the door to a new set of possible uses and services. This was mentioned by Duan, Feng, and Mishra 2021. Okay, let's move to the next part is literature review. The term supply chain management (SCM) refers to the process of managing the creation of a good or service from the time it is created all the way through its final disposals, which can include multiple options depending on the nature of the good or service, the industry in which it was created, and the company's business model. This was mentioned by Dr. Morgan MC Fritz 2019. Duan et al. 2020 defined the food supply chain as a set of interdependent companies that work closely together to manage the flow of goods and services along the value-added chain of agricultural and food products in order to realize superior customer value at the lowest possible cost. Compared to the other industries, the food industry has more fragile value chains. More fragile value chains are used to make food, which means that more care need to be taken when doing things like making and storing it. Also, the quality of food naturally changes all the times, which makes it hard to make sure it is safe and of good quality. The quality and freshness of food can also be affected by things like the temperature and how it is transported. According to Muslimin et al. 2021, the seafood supply chain operation is not different from other supply chain management. They are different because they involve a series of activities or processes in the water to catch fish. Next, the Internet of Things (IoT) is defined as the integration of embedded sensors and actuators in machines and other physical things into a network of intelligently linked devices and systems. This was mentioned by Yang, Tuan, Feng, and Mishra 2021. According to Pishdar et al. 2018, in order to provide a comprehensive solution based on the IoT, several different technologies must be combined. There are typically 4 distinct components that make up an IoT network. There's a sensing layer that made up of several Internet of Things gadgets, such RFID tags, sensors, and actuators. According to Rujak et al. 2020, IoT is a technical idea that involves the interconnection of a wide variety of devices that can be activated on and off the internet and that use software and automation process to facilitate the development of intelligent programs. For example, RFID tags linked to a network may exchange identifying data via established channel of communication in the same study as well. To better plan, control and coordinate supply chain activities in real time, the IoT is defined in the context of supply chain management as a network of physically connected objects that can sense, monitor and interact both internally and externally with the company and its supply chain. So let's move to the next part is research problem. They have a 4 research problem. So the first part is many industries have gained potential advantages from the use of Internet of Things, IoT, in supply chain management and operation, yet several firms are unwilling to apply this technology in their firms. This was mentioned by Chang Yu et al. 2022. Secondly, even though studies in sustainable supply chain management (SCCM) have existed for the past 2 decades, however, there are still challenges of sustainable supply chain management worldwide. This was mentioned by Lim and Phillips 2008 and Colbert and Longani 2019. Next, based on the literature search, there are broad seafood supply chain challenges and problems. For example, is limited fishing infrastructure, supply chain and still weak logistics, quality of fish, and policies that are not yet balanced. This was mentioned by Rombe et al. 2018 and Muslimin et al. 2021. Finally, various industries have recognized the importance of the IoT in maintaining the supply chain. However, according to the researchers, there are also many challenges of IoT. For example, is lack of strategy and scenario planning in IoT, financial matters, dynamic environment, etc. Studies on the challenges of IoT towards the food supply chain management is limited, especially for seafood industry. This study is based on the theory of the technology, acceptance model and attitude. There are 2 external factors that we can see on the slide. So the first one is perceived usefulness. Is it IoT is useful for user? Secondly is perceived easy of use. Is it IoT is easily to use for the user? Then this external factor will output intention to use for the user. Consequently, an existing intention will trigger a particular attitude towards using IoT. Now we move to the research objective. The main objective of my study is I want to explore the utilization of Internet of Things, IoT, in seafood supply chain management. Hence, the other objectives of my studies are I want to explore the awareness of Internet of Things in seafood supply chain management. I want to understand the willingness of IoT in seafood supply chain management. And lastly, I want to understand the challenges of using IoT for seafood supply chain management. So, I have provided a research question. The main research question of my study is how the IoT used in seafood supply chain management. Hence, the other research questions of my studies are: what are the awareness of IoT in seafood supply chain management? How is the willingness of using the Internet of Things in seafood supply chain management? Lastly, what are the challenges of using the Internet of Things in seafood supply chain management? The next part is methodology. The method that I've been used is qualitative method. In the qualitative method, I will use semi-structured interview. A semi-structured approach was chosen to collect key data from owner or employee of seafood supply chain in Malaysia until data saturation was achieved. Each interview will be approximately 60 to 90 minutes. Each interview will be recorded and transcribed, then transcription in Malay language and be translated to English. Okay, now let's proceed to the semi-structured interview guide. So for the question A, I want to obtain information about respondents. For the question B, I want to obtain information about respondents' company. I have marking for the question 3, 4 and 5. The star marking is 2. Before I want to interviewing, the respondent's company, information will be obtained from the company's websites. The rationale of asking this question is to verify the information with respondents and to obtain additional information if the company's websites does not provide the information needed. Okay, for the question C, I want to explore the awareness of Internet of Things, IoT, in seafood supply chain management. Question D, I want to understand the willingness of using IoT in seafood supply chain management. For the question E, I want to understand the challenges of using IoT for seafood supply chain management. And lastly, for question F, is a closing statement. The analysis for this FYP is I'm using qualitative method, which is semi-structured interviews method. I will transcribe verbatim, which means is word by word. I will translate it to English, if not English transcription. Lastly, thematic analysis. Okay, now let me look at the appendices. So here is the past studies on supply chain management. Now is the past studies on Internet of Things, IoT. So this is my flowchart of activities on my FYP. So the first activities is literature search. Next is chapter 2, literature review. Then chapter 3, methodology. Chapter 1, introduction. And now I'm on the FYP proposal and presentation. Inshallah. Next is semi-structured interview, transcribing and translating, data analysis, and lastly, manuscript preparation. This is my research milestone. Lastly, this is my references on the past studies. Thank you very much for watching my presentation. I hope Doctor can give me A for this FYP. Thank you. Assalamualaikum.